Lena strolled down the main hallway of Crescent High, her heels clacking against the shiny tiles. Whispers followed her, some in awe, most in fear. At 16, Lena had carved out a reputation nobody dared question. She was the daughter of a powerful local politician, and rumors of her father's influence spread like wildfire. Teachers stepped aside, fellow students lowered their eyes, and even the school's principal, Mr. Jennings, seemed powerless to control her. On this particular morning, Lena paused to inspect a poster advertising an upcoming talent show. She ripped it down with a smirk. "Boring," she muttered. A timid freshman stood by, frozen in place. Lena glared at him. "You got a problem?" she snapped. The freshman shook his head and scurried away. From inside a classroom, Miss Torres watched with disapproval. She was the only teacher who didn't avert her gaze at Lena's antics. Instead, Miss Torres narrowed her eyes, mentally noting yet another incident. But even she understood the precarious position she was in. Speak too loudly, and Mr. Jennings would no doubt find a way to blame her instead. "I rule this place," Lena announced to no one in particular. "And no one's going to stop me." She crumpled the poster, tossing it onto the floor. The bell rang soon after, but Lena never hurried. This was her school, and everyone knew it. Noah stepped onto Crescent High's campus for the first time, taking in the red brick building and the large oak tree near the courtyard. He adjusted his backpack straps and glanced at the schedule in his hand. He was starting his junior year mid-semester, an unusual circumstance brought on by his parents' recent job moves. Almost immediately, he noticed the hush in the corridors. Groups of students huddled together, eyes darting fearfully in one direction. "What's going on?" Noah wondered aloud. A girl with a warm smile approached. "Hi, are you new?" she asked quietly. "Yeah," Noah answered. "I'm trying to find room 204 for homeroom." "I'm Mia," she said, offering her hand. "That's my homeroom too. Let me show you." They walked together, and Mia lowered her voice to explain the school's unspoken code. "We have a problem here. Her name's Lena. She's the daughter of a pretty powerful politician. She basically does whatever she wants." Noah raised an eyebrow. He had heard rumors about kids who bullied entire schools, but he couldn't imagine someone having that much influence. Still, he nodded politely. "Trust me," Mia went on, "just stay out of her way, and you'll be fine." But Noah only shrugged. He had never been one to let fear dictate his actions. With the morning announcements done, Mr. Jennings dismissed the students to their classes. Noah stood at his locker, stuffing a few books in, when Mia caught up to him. Her eyes flicked around to ensure they weren't overheard. "Noah, listen," she whispered urgently. "I've been here for 2 years, and I've seen what Lena can do. You have to be careful. If she sets her sights on you, things can get pretty rough." He paused, considering her words. "I appreciate the warning," he said. "But if she wants to start something, I'm not going to just roll over." Mia bit her lip, recalling last year's fiasco when a quiet boy named Tim tried to stand up to Lena. He ended up with his grades mysteriously dropping and was rumored to have lost several scholarship opportunities. Nobody could prove Lena was behind it, but everyone knew. "Seriously, Noah," Mia pleaded, "just don't give her a reason to come after you. It won't be worth the trouble." He gave a faint smile. "I won't look for a fight, I promise. But I won't let her walk all over me either. Deal?" Mia sighed, conceding. "Deal. Just watch your back." Unbeknownst to them, Lena was already watching from the end of the hallway, sizing up the new kid who dared to look unafraid. Lena waited until lunch to make her move. The cafeteria buzzed with chatter. Students formed their usual cliques. Mia and Noah sat at a small table near the window where sunlight streamed in. From across the room, Lena scrutinized them. She couldn't stand the way this new boy, Noah, carried himself. He didn't flinch when she passed by earlier. He didn't avert his eyes in submission. That was enough to provoke her. "Watch this," Lena said to her entourage, a group of sycophants who lived for her approval. She grabbed a tray of food from a trembling freshman who was too frightened to protest. Strutting across the cafeteria, Lena made a show of accidentally tripping near Noah's table, letting the tray's contents fly. Splatters of spaghetti sauce and milk coated Noah's sweatshirt. A hush fell over the room. Everyone waited for Noah's reaction. Most of them braced for him to shrink back in embarrassment or mutter an apology to Lena, anything to appease her. But Noah stood up slowly, wiping off a chunk of spaghetti from his sleeve. "Looks like you dropped something," he said evenly, meeting Lena's gaze. Lena's heart thundered, not with fear but with anger. How dare he not cower? "You need to watch where you're going," she shot back, voice sharp. Noah didn't break eye contact. "Maybe we both do," he replied calmly. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Lena's jaw tightened. Mia stared, already fearing the worst. In the far corner of the cafeteria sat Jace, a new transfer student almost as fresh as Noah. Nobody knew much about him, but he always seemed to be in the right place at the right time, quietly observing. He wore dark clothes and a hooded sweatshirt, blending into the background. Yet his eyes captured every detail, from Lena's calculated moves to Noah's unwavering composure. He watched as Lena stomped off in a huff, her minions trailing after her. Noah, still stained with food, exhaled and sat down. Mia hurried to help him dab at the mess with napkins. "That was intense," Mia murmured. "You okay?" "I'm fine," Noah insisted. "She's not going to scare me." Jace picked up his tray and left, slipping out of the cafeteria without drawing notice. As he walked down the hallway, he recalled a time he'd witnessed something similar in another school. A bully had ruled the halls, but secrets had a funny way of coming to light. He rounded a corner and stopped near a vending machine, seemingly waiting for someone. Moments later, Ms. Torres passed by. She offered him a polite smile, but he detected the worry in her eyes. "It's starting again," Ms. Torres whispered, as if to herself. Jace nodded subtly, though she hadn't been speaking directly to him. Secrets had a way of unraveling, and Jace had a feeling Lena's secrets ran deeper than anyone imagined. Later that week, Ms. Torres sat in the staff lounge, sipping lukewarm coffee and pondering her next move. She had heard rumors, vague whispers about Lena's father pulling strings whenever his daughter got into trouble. In the past, Ms. Torres had tried to file reports on Lena's bullying, only to see those complaints vanish into thin air. The door to the lounge opened, and Mr. Jennings entered with a forced smile. "Ms. Torres, about that report on Lena you submitted yesterday," he began. His tone suggested an apology was coming, but it never fully formed. "I'm afraid there's insufficient evidence. We have to drop it." Insufficient evidence?" Ms. Torres echoed, setting her coffee down. "I have witness statements, Jennings." Students saw her throw a tray at Noah. "That's harassment." The principal's face stiffened. "Ms. Torres, I understand your concern, but it's complicated. Her father is—" "She shouldn't get special treatment because of her father," Ms. Torres interrupted. "These kids are terrified, and it's our job to protect them." He sighed heavily. "Look, do you want to keep your job? Let this go. I'm warning you. Lena's father has influence." Ms. Torres felt her stomach churn. This wasn't the first time she'd heard that threat. "One day, we won't be able to ignore this anymore," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "One day, it will go too far." But Mr. Jennings simply shrugged and left, leaving Ms. Torres feeling both outraged and powerless. Lena paced in her lavish bedroom that evening, ignoring the pink and silver decor she once adored. All she could think about was Noah's calm face. It infuriated her. She wasn't used to defiance. Most students cowered immediately. She tapped her manicured nails against her desk as she considered her next move. "He thinks he's tough," Lena muttered to herself. "But let's see how he does when his entire life here becomes a nightmare." Pulling out her phone, she texted one of her loyal followers, a junior named Becca who had access to various social circles. "Lena, need a favor. Find dirt on Noah. Family, past schools, anything." "Becca, on it. Heard he used to be on the chess team or something. We'll dig deeper." Lena smiled at the thought of humiliating Noah. If she couldn't scare him away physically, she'd find another method, academic sabotage, vicious rumors, or something more creative. She remembered Tim from the year before, how she'd orchestrated a smear campaign that left him begging to switch schools. "People have to learn I'm not to be messed with," Lena told her reflection in the vanity mirror. She flicked off the bedroom lights, sinking into her plush bed. By morning, she'd have the beginnings of a plan in place to systematically break Noah until he regretted ever crossing her path. By the end of the week, Noah sensed a subtle shift in the air. The whispers in the hallway grew louder whenever he passed, and a few students threw him pitying glances. Mia stuck by his side, but she was nervous, her eyes darting anxiously at every corner. "Have you noticed that people are acting weird around me?" Noah asked as they walked to English class. Mia nodded, pressing her textbook against her chest. "Yeah, I've heard rumors. Something about your family moving around a lot because your parents can't hold jobs. It's obviously twisted or exaggerated." Noah frowned. "We move because my mom's work relocates her. My dad's a researcher. He can do that job anywhere." "That's hardly a scandal." "Doesn't matter," Mia sighed. "People here love to gossip, especially when Lena's behind it." That afternoon, Lena confronted Noah in the hallway, flanked by 2 lackeys. "Heard your family can't stay in one place," she sneered. "Must suck being so unwanted." Noah opened his mouth to retort, but closed it again. He'd seen bullying before, and he knew if he fed it anger, it would only make Lena stronger. Instead, he locked eyes with her. "Is that the best you can do?" he asked quietly, turning to walk away. A flicker of confusion and anger crossed Lena's face. No name-calling, no rage. Just calm dismissal. That was the moment something in the dynamic shifted. Lena wasn't rattling him, and it made her furious. School let out under a heavy gray sky that threatened rain. Noah and Mia lingered by the main entrance, discussing an upcoming assignment. Suddenly, they noticed Jace standing near the bike racks, observing them. He seemed hesitant, as if deciding whether to approach. After a moment, Jace walked over. His voice was low, almost a whisper. "You're not from here, so you don't know what you're up against," he said to Noah. "Nice to meet you too," Noah replied, slightly wary. Jace glanced around, ensuring nobody was eavesdropping. "I've seen people like Lena before. They act untouchable, but they always have a weak spot." Mia crossed her arms. "And you know hers?" "Maybe," Jace said cryptically. "But it's bigger than just high school drama. Her father is involved in things that would ruin them if it got out." Noah narrowed his eyes. "Why are you telling us this?" Jace shrugged, pushing a dark strand of hair away from his forehead. "Because someone needs to stand up to her, and the last person who tried disappeared from the school without a trace. I'd rather that not happen again." Lightning flashed in the distance, illuminating Jace's serious expression. Mia shivered, unsure if it was from the chill in the air or the weight of Jace's words. "Just watch your step," Jace continued. "But if you're planning to fight back, you'll need more than just guts." The next Monday, Lena set a trap. She had arranged for a fake announcement, signed off by Mr. Jennings, though he knew nothing about it, stating that a mandatory assembly would be held in the auditorium during lunch period. Naturally, everyone filed in, including Noah and Mia. On stage, an old projector screen displayed a doctored video clip of Noah. Spliced together from random footage gleaned off his social media profiles, the video depicted him saying silly things out of context. Laughter erupted as it looped in humiliating fashion. Lena waited in the wings, satisfied that this would break his composure. But then, Ms. Torres stormed down the aisle, stepping onto the stage with an expression of pure indignation. "Who authorized this assembly?" she demanded. The laughter died down. Lena stood frozen, not expecting Ms. Torres's interruption. From the crowd, Noah gave Ms. Torres a grateful nod. Behind the curtains, a startled stage tech fumbled with the equipment. Jace materialized beside him, quietly disconnecting wires. The screen went black. Gasps and murmurs filled the air, but the humiliating video vanished. "Everyone back to your classes," Ms. Torres commanded. "This assembly is cancelled." As students filed out, Mia caught sight of Lena's furious glare. But for once, Lena's plan had failed before it could do real damage. Noah felt a rush of relief. It was the first time someone, besides Mia, had stepped up to protect him. Rumors buzzed that Ms. Torres might be fired for derailing Lena's scheme. It was said that Mr. Jennings received an angry phone call from Lena's father that very afternoon. Tension rippled through the halls. Even the slightest show of defiance seemed to escalate the stakes. Unwilling to let her failure slide, Lena doubled down. She orchestrated a new rumor, something bigger than before. With the help of Becca and a couple of other loyal lieutenants, she spread vicious lies that Noah had a criminal record at his last school. By lunch, everyone was talking about it. Mia overheard 2 sophomores whispering that Noah had attacked a teacher before fleeing to Crescent High. Others claimed he'd been expelled for stealing. None of it was true, but in a school so tightly controlled by fear, truth mattered less than entertainment. Noah confronted Lena in the corridor, voice controlled but simmering with indignation. "I heard I'm a criminal now," he said. "Impressive imagination." Lena tossed her hair. "Who knows what's real? Maybe you're dangerous." He leaned in slightly, voice low. "This ends now. Or it's going to backfire on you." She laughed coldly. "You think you can threaten me? You don't understand the power I have." But a hint of uncertainty flickered across Lena's face. Noah wasn't crumbling under her tactics. That unnerved her more than she cared to admit. At the library after school, Jace pulled Noah aside between dusty shelves of old textbooks. Mia trailed behind, eyeing Jace warily. She couldn't decide if she trusted him or not, but her gut told her he might be their best chance at surviving Lena's reign. Jace spoke in hushed tones. "Lena's father isn't just any politician. He's been accused of embezzlement, witness intimidation, you name it. But charges never stick. I've been doing my own research." He held up a folder stuffed with newspaper clippings and printed articles. Mia's eyes widened. "Why do you have all this?" Jace shrugged. "I'm not new to corruption. My mom used to work for a local law firm. She told me stories about how people with power twist the system." Noah scanned a few clippings, eyebrows rising. "So Lena's father might be paying off officials?" "Possibly. And that means he can pull strings at the school too, which explains why Mr. Jennings is so submissive." Mia exhaled. "Great. So we're basically up against a whole system." Jace smiled grimly. "You're also not alone. Ms. Torres might be able to help us gather evidence. If we can prove wrongdoing, even Lena can't bully her way out." A spark of determination lit up Noah's eyes. "It's time we fight back with more than just words." At the end of the week, an explosive rumor broke out. A journalist from the local news station was investigating shady dealings related to the mayor's office, and the politician in question was Lena's father. Word spread that this journalist had uncovered financial records linking him to fraudulent schemes. Lena arrived at school that morning looking unusually rattled, her face pale. Her phone buzzed nonstop, presumably with updates from her father or his campaign manager. She was so distracted that she didn't even bother to glare at students in the hallway. Noah, Mia, and Jace convened in a side corridor. "This must be it," Jace said excitedly. "The big secret is about to blow up. If it does, Lena's power could crumble." Mia nodded, her heart pounding. If her father goes down, she loses her free pass. "But do you really think he'll be held accountable?" Noah folded his arms. "It depends on the evidence. But even if he weasels out legally, the scandal alone might be enough to shake Lena's hold here." Yet something felt off to Noah. The abruptness of this investigation seemed almost too convenient. Across the hall, they glimpsed Lena leaning against a locker, eyes brimming with tears. It was jarring to see the school's merciless queen looking so vulnerable. Something monumental was shifting, and they could feel it in the air like static electricity before a storm. The next morning, the school felt different, charged with the possibility of change. Students whispered about Lena's father being under police scrutiny, about how Ms. Torres was collecting statements of bullying incidents. A wave of boldness swept through the corridors. If Lena's protective shield was weakening, maybe they weren't helpless anymore. During lunch, a group of sophomores confronted Lena at her usual table. "We're tired of being bullied," one declared, his voice shaking yet resolute. We're reporting all of it to Ms. Torres. Lena stood up, anger twisting her features, but she found herself staring into a sea of unsympathetic faces. No one scurried away. No one looked down. Even some of her own followers peeled off, unwilling to be associated with a sinking ship. The cafeteria erupted into scattered applause. The bravest students stepped forward, detailing the harassment they'd endured. Lena's face reddened. She glanced desperately around for Mr. Jennings, but he was nowhere in sight. Maybe he'd finally realized he couldn't protect her forever. Noah and Mia observed from a distance, equal parts astonished and relieved. A spark had been lit, one that was growing into an open revolt. For the first time, Lena was on the defensive, and it seemed there was nothing she could do to squash the rebellion. Mr. Jennings sat in his office, head in his hands. The unrest at school had reached a fever pitch, with dozens of students lodging formal complaints against Lena. Ms. Torres submitted a thick folder documenting countless incidents, bullying, harassment, even rumors about academic fraud. He stared at the folder, heart pounding. He knew that if he sided with the students, Lena's father might retaliate. But if he ignored the crisis, he risked a full-scale mutiny among staff and students. His career hung in the balance. A knock on the door startled him. Ms. Torres stepped in, closing it behind her. "Mr. Jennings, there's enough evidence here to suspend Lena and investigate further." He swallowed hard. I understand, but you have to see my position." She leveled him with a firm look. "Your position is to protect these kids, sir. That's your duty, first and foremost." Outside, voices rose in the hallway. Students chanted, "No more fear. No more fear." The chant sent a chill through Mr. Jennings's spine. He'd never seen them so united. He took a deep breath. "All right. Prepare the suspension notice for Lena. I'll sign it." Ms. Torres's eyes widened with relief. "Thank you, Mr. Jennings. You're doing the right thing." As she left, the principal gazed out his window at the restless crowd. For the first time in a long while, he was choosing the students over politics. Word spread in seconds. Lena had been called to the principal's office. Students crowded in the corridors, peering from behind lockers, waiting for the final showdown. Mia and Noah stood at the edge of the throng, anticipation and anxiety coursing through them. Lena approached Mr. Jennings's office, flanked by two of her remaining loyalists. Her expression was a cocktail of fury and fear. She shoved the door open to find Mr. Jennings and Ms. Torres waiting. "We have received multiple complaints," Mr. Jennings began, voice trembling slightly. "This is ridiculous." Lena burst out. "I've done nothing wrong. You're all out to get me because of my father." Ms. Torres gently placed the folder on the desk. "We have statements and evidence proving your involvement in systematic bullying, Lena. That alone warrants suspension." "You can't suspend me," Lena hissed, tears welling up in her eyes. She looked wildly around the office, as though searching for a lifeline. "My dad will." "Your father's under investigation," Mr. Jennings said, trying to sound firm. "He can't protect you this time." A tense silence followed. Outside, the student body held its breath, waiting for her next move. Lena's face went pale as reality sank in. The once unassailable queen of Crescent High found herself cornered, and for the first time, she had no immediate escape. The crowd parted as Lena emerged from the office, a pink slip of paper, her suspension notice, clutched in her trembling hand. Tears stained her cheeks, but a deeper emotion shone in her eyes, rage. She scanned the onlookers, spotting Noah near the back. Screams and accusations poured from her. "You think you've won?" she shouted, voice trembling. "I'll make you pay for this." She pointed a shaky finger at Ms. Torres, who stood with quiet resolve. Students whispered among themselves. Some felt vindicated, others uncomfortable with seeing Lena in tears for the first time. Mia's heart pounded at the intensity of the scene. Noah stood rooted, expression unreadable. Suddenly, Lena rounded on him. "You did this, you and your stupid bravery. You ruined everything." Noah met her gaze, calm but sad. "You ruined yourself, Lena. You can't control people forever." She let out a near-hysterical laugh, flinging the suspension slip at his feet. "You have no idea what my father is capable of," she hissed. "You'll all regret this." Everyone watched in tense silence as Lena stormed out of the building, pushing past staff and students. The hallway felt suffocating in her wake. This was the end of her hold on the school, or so everyone hoped. But a dark unease loomed, as if Lena still had one more card to play. For days following Lena's suspension, Crescent High felt eerily calm. Students tentatively began to relax, lingering in hallways, chatting freely in the cafeteria without fear of sudden attacks. Mia and Noah could walk around without constant scrutiny, and even the shy kids who once shrank from Lena's presence breathed easier. However, a ripple of anxiety persisted. Lena's threats echoed in the minds of those who had stood against her, especially Ms. Torres. At staff meetings, Mr. Jennings assured the faculty that everything was under control, but everyone knew Lena's father still had connections. Meanwhile, Jace continued his quiet research, sifting through fresh headlines about the political scandal. One article hinted that Lena's father might have bribed local officials to keep his daughter's past indiscretions hidden. Mia and Noah visited Ms. Torres after class, wanting to ensure she was all right. She gave them a weary smile. "I'm fine, though I won't lie, I'm expecting some kind of retaliation. You don't cross powerful families without consequences." Noah nodded. "We'll be careful. And if you need anything." She patted his arm. "I appreciate it. But for now, let's just focus on keeping the school a safe place. One step at a time." Though Lena's reign of terror had ended, the lingering question was whether it was truly over. A disquieting tension hinted there might be more to come. In the weeks that followed, the school experienced a gradual but noticeable transformation. Without Lena's oppressive influence, clubs blossomed. Students felt confident expressing themselves, forming new study groups, planning events, and celebrating each other's achievements. The once feared halls now bustled with positive energy. Mr. Jennings surprised everyone by supporting Ms. Torres's initiatives to promote kindness and emotional well-being. The staff, emboldened by Lena's absence, cooperated more than ever. A wave of relief and excitement washed over Crescent High. Noah finally felt at home. "It's amazing how different this place is now," he remarked to Mia as they relaxed by the courtyard oak tree. She grinned. "It's like the school shed a huge weight. Who knew one person could cause so much damage, and that removing her would make everything so much better?" Jace joined them, a rare smile curving his lips. "We did a good thing," he said softly. "And Ms. Torres deserves half the credit. If she hadn't spoken up, I doubt we could have changed much." From across the courtyard, Ms. Torres stood with a few students organizing a charity event. She waved cheerily at the trio, a gesture of appreciation for their courage. As the final bell rang, the three friends parted ways, each thinking that perhaps their fight was finished. But fate had one last surprise in store, a twist that would rattle them all. It happened on a bright Thursday morning. Students were settling into homeroom when the loudspeaker crackled to life. Mr. Jennings's voice echoed through the school, tight with tension. "Attention, students and faculty. I regret to inform you that there has been an incident. Lena's father was arrested late last night on charges of fraud and obstruction of justice. Furthermore, new evidence suggests an accomplice within the school administration." Gasps rippled through the classrooms. Mia and Noah exchanged stunned glances. Had Mr. Jennings been complicit? Or was someone else involved? Mr. Jennings cleared his throat. "Effective immediately, we are launching an internal investigation. Classes will proceed, but please be prepared for interviews with outside auditors. We are committed to maintaining a fair and safe environment for all." Mia's heart hammered. She thought the nightmare was over, but the storm had only broken the horizon. What if Lena wasn't the only one behind the harassment and sabotage? Later that afternoon, Ms. Torres discovered that important documents related to bullying reports had vanished from her office. She found a note tucked into a folder. "You may have gotten rid of Lena, but you'll never expose all of us." A chill ran down her spine. The school might have been liberated from one tyrant, but the final twist implied that a darker web of corruption still lurked. "Noah, Mia and Jace had toppled the queen, but the echoes of power and secrets continued to resonate, leaving everyone uneasy about what might come next. The end.